New tonight, looking at the disparities within the research of this drug, Leqembi. It's being used to slow down the progression of early stages of Alzheimer's. We first told you the FDA approved treatment last year, but now in-depth reporter Rochelle Aline is shining a light on the impact it's now having on some members of the Black community.
He loves to drink water, which is always good.
Finding joy in the little things is at the heart of the care Vecelia Johnson provides for her 85-year-old father, Carl Williams, who's been diagnosed with dementia.
Probably about 5 years ago, we recognized there were some signs of forgetting things like keys, forgetting to pay bills that he was historically known for paying on time.
According to the Alzheimer's Association, older Black Americans like Carl are 2 times more likely than older white Americans to develop Alzheimer's or dementia. And experts tell me that research on the cause of this disparity for Black Americans and their inclusion in clinical trials for treatment is lacking.
My name is Ram Bishnoi.
Professor Bishnoi works at the USF Health Bird Alzheimer's Institute, and he says a perfect example of this came up in a recent round of clinical trials for the newly approved Alzheimer's treatment, Leqembi. The drug works to prevent the buildup of a protein in the brain called amyloid beta that researchers say can make the disease worse. But data from that drug trial shows that of the nearly 1,800 participants, just over 40 were Black.
We have a very limited data from the African American population. And most of our data is from the white people.
I looked through several recent reports that claim many Black participants were screened out of that trial because they didn't have enough protein buildup in their brains for the drug to be effective, which begs a few follow-up questions.
Are these patients possibly being misdiagnosed and maybe they have a different form of dementia? Or are we seeing Alzheimer's present itself differently in different races?
According to Professor Bishnoi, both options are plausible.
We can say that all Black people will need less amyloid plaques to cause same amount of cognitive impairment compared to white people.
And there are differences that leaders with the Alzheimer's Association of Florida tell me should be taken into account by researchers.
Does a threshold for an African American, does it need to be the same for white population or Hispanic population? Those are definite questions that need to be looked at.
And while Professor Bishnoi says the Bird Institute is working to address disparities in clinical trials and research locally, Vecelia tells me that she also wants to see the Black community step up.
The best advice I could give, honestly, is you have to reach out for support. Nobody's gonna knock on your door and say, hey, I heard somebody at your house has Alzheimer's or dementia.
In Riverview, Rochelle Aline, ABC Action News.